Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Jonesin 4 Show. Today we are lucky enough, we have an awesome guest. He is the creator, the tournament director of the Extreme Kayak Fishing Series down in Florida. I was there fishing with him and a whole crew a couple years ago, going after sailfish out of the kayak, and he has a bunch of other tournaments. He has chased his passions and inspired others to do the same. That's right, we have the amazing, the awesome Joe Hector with us. Hey, Joe, thank you so much for being here.
Hey, what's up, bud? How's it going? Thanks for having me on. Just so you guys know, I'm in my mobile office right now, so don't mind me driving here. But yeah, I'm really excited to have an awesome talk with you and talk about the series and how the stuff that I've built has helped inspire other people and even friends of mine to start their own businesses. So.
I love it. And so, yeah, got folks driving right now, and he'll be getting home in a little bit. So excuse the noise, but I mean, he's a busy guy chasing his passion. So we're lucky enough to have him here. So Joe, walk us through like a little bit about you, about your history, about how you ended up in Florida, where you are now, and just the start of you and the business aspect of it.
Yeah. So my fishing passion started, as a little kid. I come from a fishing family. From New Jersey, South Jersey. And, we would go fishing all the time. We would compete in a lot of tournaments. So when I was young, my uncle actually, and my father and my grandfather would all enter these tournaments. And I would see how they were run. It was weird. As a kid, sure, I'd love to fish these tournaments and catch fish and win it. But I had an interest in seeing how it was done on the back end, and in my family, my father, he owns a mechanical construction business in New York and Newark, and he puts in the big AC units on these skyscrapers. And so, growing up with him, I got to learn little things here and there about what it's like to be a leader, right? To communicate with people that work with you, to help others that maybe need it, that's around you. He was always such a good leader, and it was great growing up and seeing that from someone like your father. And I think that rubbed off on me a little bit. And years later, I wanted to move to Florida to go to college, and I went to college. I was actually a pretty good artist, and I'm sure people see it on Facebook now. I started kind of getting into my passion again, doing my fish paintings on wood. And so when I was young, I said, I want to go to the Art Institute and check it out in South Florida. So, my family was against it. My father wanted me to take over his company. I didn't enjoy being on top of a skyscraper in the wintertime in Newark, New Jersey. I didn't like it. It wasn't fun for me. It's grueling work. It's tough work. I give those guys so much credit in the world, but it wasn't for me. And I'm the type of person where I have to be interested in something in order to fulfill it 110%. And if there's one thing I think that people know about me, that do know me, it's that if I love something, I will put everything into it. Whether I fail, or whether I succeed, I will do everything I can to succeed. So going back to me going to college here, unfortunately, I wasn't able to fish like I used to in New Jersey. I didn't have the money I had when you're living with your family and then you move away.
Right.
I was working a couple jobs, working at like the Gap and Abercrombie and stuff like that. And then one day, my buddy Nathan and we just clicked. We met at the gym, and he said, "Hey, Joe, we got to go fishing." So we started fishing off the beach. And then about a couple weeks later, I'll never forget, I lived in a duplex back then, and I was sitting down. I just came in from fishing. And Maria, I love the History Channel. And Maria had the History Channel on, and she had a big spaghetti dinner, waiting for me. And I sit down, and I'm eating my dinner. And what's on is about those Indians that would hunt these whales on like those canoes way back in the day. And they would hunt those forget the type of the whale. They have the big horn, in Alaska or something.
Right.
Anyway, I'm watching this and I'm sitting there going, oh my God, that is freaking awesome. And me being an offshore guy and a big fish guy, I'm like, I'm living in a place that, you can catch monster wahoo, sailfish, literally less than a mile off the beach. I mean, you can get sailfish in 40 feet of water here. And that's when it kind of like clicked. And I'll never forget, I went out, I got an old ocean kayak, the long, I forget the name of it, the long and lean one. And again, we're talking about 2006, 2007. So that's a long time ago. And I bought we called the other one the Orange Crush. That was the one for Nathan. No rod holders. It was one of those little kayaks that were made for like riding a wave.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? For like kids or something.
Yep.
So we would go out kayaks, and we did it consistently for probably a year. And it was such a passion of mine. We loved it. I went to sleep thinking about it. I would do it any way I could. And finally, I end up graduating college, and my father's like, what are you going to do? You're going to move back to Jersey? I still would like you here. And I didn't know what I was going to do. And my father made a good point. He's like, listen, you got this degree. Why don't you try getting a job in your field and seeing where that goes? And I did. This was during and literally right after the recession. So people were still in that mindset where, I can't afford a boat. I can't afford gas. I can't do this. I can't do that. So everyone was trying to find the cheaper way to do stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's when it hit me. And I'll never forget, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my dad and I'm like, you know what? I love fishing and I love fishing off the kayak. Why don't I take my skills in web and graphic design and use it to maybe try to build something like a charter company or something, or even an event, I don't know, for offshore kayak fishing. And, of course, my dad was like, what are you, nuts? Come on, you can't do that. Your insurance is going to be insane. It's just going to be nuts. Anyway, long story short, I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. Screw it. I don't care what anyone says.
So, hey, folks, sorry about the technical difficulties there, the joys of driving and trying to record and all that good stuff. We're going to have Joe pick it back up after he graduated college and he was chatting with his dad about what to do next. So, Joe, take it away.
Yeah, so I graduated college. And, again, this is literally right at the end of the recession. And, my father called me and he said, hey, what are you going to do? I'd like you to come home and maybe try something here. And, I just didn't want to go home. And I ended up doing an internship for Billabong Design. And I ended up doing that for about a year. But again, this was during that time where, everyone was cutting, jobs and all that stuff. I mean, it was crazy back then. So I ended up being the youngest one there, getting laid off after a year. And me and almost our whole team, actually. And that's when it hit me. I talked to my father after all that was happening, and I said, you know what? What if I took my passion for fishing mm-hmm. and this kayak fishing thing that I've been doing that I love, what if I took that and mixed it with my graphic design, my web design that I learned in college, and mixed it and turned it into something, a charter company, an event, I don't know, something, magazine, whatever. And, of course he was like, nah, that's not going to happen. We'd like you to come home. What are you
Right.
not? The whole spiel. And you know what? I said, screw it. I'm going to try it. I think I can do this. I have a passion for it. And I think, if this is my last opportunity to stay here in Florida, I'm going to fight for it because I love it here. And, and that's pretty much what happened. And here we are 10 years later. And it was nuts too, because I would go and I was trying to get all these sponsors and everybody was turning me down left and right. And back then I was doing my personal training, and which I still do today. I own a personal training company. And I ended up meeting this client of mine named Frank Flynn. And we actually put his name on our tournament shirts in the beginning. And he was a huge mentor for me. My father was also a mentor, but Frank, I would say, was one of my top mentors here in South Florida. And he was a big contractor. He would build the big mansions in Boca Raton. He would build, some of the sky rises in Miami. So he was pretty big time. And I would go with him on some of his jobs and kind of shadow him and to see how he would work with people. And I'm talking about, he'd be in charge of hundreds of guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, just to talk with him, the 4 to 5 days a week I was training with him was just so valuable. And he ended up being diagnosed with lung cancer. And I'll never forget, he sat me down, and told me about it. And, obviously there's like the shock. And then he said to me, he goes, Joe, you keep talking to me about this kayak fishing thing. How about I help you get it started? I'll give you, I'll give you a little bit of some cash and, get this thing started. And I was shocked. I didn't expect it. I would have still did it on my own, but, sometimes the universe has another plan, and it ended up really helping me, him giving that opportunity to me. So, and that's pretty much how we started. It was grueling in the beginning. We didn't make any money for the first 3.5 years, but we kept at it. I have an awesome teammate with my wife, Maria, and and I feel you need something like that. You need a good team. We had an awesome team that's been with us almost the whole time. I mean, from Marco to Doug Perez, to Kirk, all those guys. You're nothing without your team, and that's another thing I've learned, from Frank and from my father. So yeah, that's pretty much how it started. And our first sponsors were Turbo USA and Nautical Ventures. And I ended up meeting Roger. I got an email from him, Roger Moore, the owner of Nautical. And this was when they had one place. Now I believe they have like 5, which is crazy. The growth of their company has been awesome. And, I gave him the same spiel. I was given all these other sponsors that said I was nuts. And he ended up saying I was nuts, but I like it. And maybe I'll give you an opportunity. And that's kind of how it started with Nautical Ventures. And with Turbo USA, that was also a little bit of luck. I personal trained the owner of the company, Willem, and he's also like a mentor to me in Florida as well. And they're a huge company, not just in Florida, but they're all around the world. They do the turbine engines for like the Disney cruise ships and all that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we ended up getting him as a main sponsor as well. And then those two combined really helped propel me to knocking that steel door down, if you know what I mean, to getting through and finally make a name for myself for the brand and for myself. And that's where we are now. 10 years later, we still have both of them, which is great.
It's amazing how having a team of people around you, of supporters to help work through those difficult times is huge. I mean, you were naming off some of your team members already who've been there from the beginning just to help encourage you when times are tough, but give you ideas and be there to support you and do some of the legwork. But also the fact that you had some amazing mentors along the way, whether by chance the universe aligning itself or whatever you want to say, you had some awesome opportunities to have mentors help you and encourage you and to support you on something that they might think is crazy, but
Yeah.
it turned out to be awesome in the sense that you're attracting more and more people there. You said you're in your 10th year now, and this past year, at least with the sailfish one, you're breaking records now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the amazing thing is to see the growth from where we started to now. It's funny. A lot of sponsors and a lot of people, they always say, how many people fish your tournament, and we've been in the hundreds now for years. But what a lot of people can't really grasp and understand is it's not about how many people are fishing your tournament, right? I like to build an event. I like to build something that, because online is so big, it's so important. And I like to look at our company as more of a advertising company, not really a fishing tournament. And we are a fishing tournament, but we're also a paddleboard race. We're also a fitness competition, So there's a lot that keeps this wheel turning. And it's hard for a lot of people to grasp that when I say, well, it's not about how many people fish the tournament to an extent. It's about how many people see my tournament, how many people watch the tournament, how many fans buy just stuff from our website, how many guys wear our clothing, our shirts, our face masks. Our mailer list is over 30,000 people. It took 10 years to build that. We've done an event in Texas, we've done events in the Bahamas, here in South Florida. I mean, we've been all over. So it's not about just the guys that are fishing the tournament, which they are very important because they're your customers too. But your other customers are your fans. And there are fans for kayak fishing. And I try to make all of them happy. Now, you never will. I've learned that from day one. But I'm laughing because I know you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're never going to make them all happy, but all you can do is try. And I look beyond just people fishing. That's not what it's about. It's about having fun. It's about bringing your family. It's about people that are on the beach at my events that just pass by and see what we're doing and say, wow, look at that. That is awesome. I want to get into something like that, whether it's the paddleboard race or the offshore kayak fishing, so that's, to me, it's such a bigger picture than what a lot of people still think. I feel like a lot of people are still stuck in that mindset, and it's way bigger than that at this point.
Well, and I love the fact that you involve so many things and other people, and not just the fishermen. I mean, you look at the tournaments, and I fished in multiple bass tournaments before, and it's great, and the community is amazing, and you promote an awesome community there, and it's there. But what you see at regular bass tournaments is, you get the weigh-in time or a measure-in time, and it's just the anglers there. There's not usually a ton of other people. But when I was at your event, and you're doing the weigh-in and the after party and all that stuff, there's so many more people there. And what I love is that you really show that, and you invited, no, make this whole event a family event. Bring the family, stay for a while, right? There's so many things to do. And then just everybody gets to know each other. And plus, I mean, the amazing footage you take and share videos and photos and everything else to grow this community and show the world that, you know what, you can fish for large fish out of kayaks and have fun with it and be part of this amazing community no matter where you are.
Sure. I mean, listen, for us, we don't know what the next year brings. You know what I mean? It's always a year-to-year thing, especially when we were in the Bahamas. You know what I mean? So, the best you can do is just, build something for that year and put everything into it, everything from, your blood, sweat, and tears. Don't forget about the people that got you there. To me, that is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's having a good team is so important. I can't stress that enough. The effort that Marco, for instance, does at our events. It's huge. I mean, he's our event coordinator, and I've learned stuff from Marco. It's to us, it's like a big family. And again, 10 years, that's you sit there and you're like, wow, I can't believe I was in my 20s, when I started this thing. I was a kid, I didn't know what I was doing. You just kind of wing it. And, in the beginning, and this is for people that maybe want to do something like this or start a business, always remember, and I see this on Facebook a lot, and it drives me crazy. I see people I call them the pity posts. It's where people post stuff and they just feel sorry for themselves. And I just can't stand that. I don't, it's no disrespect, but I feel like, no matter what time it is, no matter what you're going through, you can always get out of it, and you can always make yourself better. You can always, do whatever you want to do if you put your mind to it. I really believe that. I think confidence is so important. I'll put it to you this way. I'm not going to mention his name, but I fished with him for years. He never caught fish. He used the same rigs that I used. He used the same gear. Everything was the same. And I would always catch the fish. He would never catch fish. And it finally hit me. I asked him, I said, when you're going out to fish, do you know you're going to catch a fish? And he goes, no, I know I'm not going to catch shit or stuff,
It's all good, man. Don't worry.
And that's when it hit me. I honestly believe confidence breeds success. It's you have to be confident in what you do. If you're not confident in what you do, don't do it, because it's probably not going to work. Those who believe they do usually do. Those who believe they can't normally can't. So, that's a mindset that I live and die with.
What a truth bomb to share with us right there. I mean, the mindset is key. Confidence is key, right? You need to have that to achieve anything. You need to be confident in yourself and have other people to believe in you, hopefully, or show them that you can, because you have that confidence. And that goes for going out and fishing, starting a business, chasing your passions, whatever it is.
Life.
You need to have that mindset. That is huge.
Yeah.
That's one thing I preach as well, is that mindset is everything.
Yeah, I mean, looking at your videos, you're always so positive. Everything you do is very positive. You know what I mean? And to me, that's success. That right there is success. You don't need a Fortune 500 public company to say you're successful. To me, just having the confidence and being happy and knowing what you do is something that you love is everything.
Exactly, and that's what I think a lot of people miss. And thank you very much for the compliment. I think people miss the fact that money is happiness, and that they need this job, this income, or this goal to be happy. When really it's different than that. You have to come to yourself inside and be confident and happy and joyful. Not necessarily positivity, but whatever it is for you. But confidence is part of it. For me, it's being positive and sharing that with other people, and hopefully help other people see the bright side of life and be positive with it.
Sure. 100%. 100%.
So let's shift this conversation a little bit here. For you, you mentioned, you do personal training, you have this tournament going on, tournament series happening. And then you also have this painting stuff that you do on the side, where you kind of got back to your artistic side. How is it that you're able to do all these things and chase, your regular job, but also chase your passions of painting and fishing and all those other things?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just making time for yourself. I'll never forget my wife and I had a conversation before Mia was born, and we said to ourselves, no matter what, in the end, no matter what, we're going to be awesome parents. That I already know, but don't don't change your life. You know what I mean? Don't if you don't have to do it, don't do it. You know what I mean? Don't change it just because everyone says your life's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you have a kid, don't do it because of that. You know, just go with the flow. Again, take it day by day. You know what I mean? And take a deep breath and just do what feels right. And you know, when it comes to like my paintings, for instance, that's a passion of mine. You know, it's something that is kind of like my zen. I do have a lot of stress because, you know, I do a lot of different things. You know, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, you get stressed out. I still love it, but you know, if it's not hard, it's not great. You know what I mean? So, you know, and so I do have stresses, and my painting to me is kind of like you know, it just kind of gets me away from all of that. I really enjoy it. I don't do many of them, but when I do them, they, you know, I post them on like Facebook and stuff, and you know, showcase some of them. There's actually a lot that I haven't even posted that I just keep to myself, you know. So and then I end up selling some of my art as well. I have people that are always interested in me painting some custom stuff for them, and you know, I enjoy it. I really do. So, and then my personal training company, you know, that is an ultimate passion of mine. I love it. I've been doing it my whole life. To me, you know, how do I say this the right way? I feel like when you work on your body as really hard, and people see that and people notice that, I personally feel like it gives you an edge going into maybe getting a sponsor or sales or talking with people, because they look at you and say, you know what, that guy worked really hard to get to that point. And if he's willing to work really hard on his body to do something like that, you know, maybe he'll go the extra mile for me for what I need done. I know I personally would definitely feel that way. You know, because it's a lot of work, you know, certain training that people do. You know, your training, you know, it's a lot of work. It's not easy, you know, and not everyone can do it. But I feel like the people that can do it and that are willing to do it every day and put that much effort into it, into your life, I don't know. I feel like that breeds success.
I'm with you totally, in the sense that I'm the same way, where if a person works on themselves physically, right, they're eating well, they're working out. I mean, whether it's a really strong regime or something, but as long as they're taking care of themselves, that's going to help them out, because it boosts your confidence, I mean, not only the physical and mental boost that it gives you, but it just helps you so much more. And then other people look at you and go, hey, look, they're taking care of themselves. They care about themselves. They're going to care about whatever you're selling or whatever you're sharing or whatever. And then, I mean, and that's just being fit in general. And then you go for more. And let's say for you, it's like bodybuilding and bulking up more. And for me, like my ninja course or my half Ironman training or whatever, right? It's different, but it still takes that grit, that effort to, and yes, it's a physical thing. Yes, it's, you know, something visual, but I think people see the work behind it and know that it takes work and effort, and then respect that and relate it then to other things. And and it's up to you, the person watching this or listening to this. If that's something you do, great. If not, okay. But I know on my side, I would strongly suggest, and hopefully you are doing something to take care of your health and take care of yourself, because you deserve it, first of all, and then it can help other things in life. So, Joe, 2 more questions for you.
Yeah.
The little trickier questions. First one, what has been your biggest struggle in chasing these passions of yours, of any of the businesses or any getting it going, whatever? What has been your biggest struggle?
Oof. That is a tough one. My biggest struggle. My own head. I think that's the best way to put it. You know, sometimes you can overthink things. Sometimes, I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie. Like, the more that you're known, the more people are going to say things, very hurtful things about you, about your family. It just goes with the territory. I don't personally know how like movie stars do it because, I mean, I'm not even close to that level, but I do have a following. I do have people that know who I am and know about my business. And, there's been some times where we've gotten some really nasty emails and really tough. It's tough to sit there and swallow that and put a smile on your face.
It is
when you see them. That's probably the hardest part. I would say your own head. You gotta. That's why the whole Zen thing is very important. That's why the working out part for me is very important. I do it more mental than anything. It keeps me freaking sane, man. You know what I mean? So that's I would say that's the hardest part.
Awesome. And I totally get that as well. The second question is, what has been the biggest positive? What has been the biggest joy of doing this?
Oh, that one's easy. The people that I've met along the way. People like you, I have met people from all over the world because of extreme kayak fishing. I have met people from China. I have met people from South Africa, from Australia, which we might pick up an Australian sponsor coming up here soon.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I have met people from all over the world, whether it's, with our events or with my podcast that we do. I mean, it's just insane and awesome, the people that we've met along the way. And that's something to me, when I'm done with this and whether I sell it or whether we just are done, in the end, I could say, you know what, Maria, like that was a ride. What an awesome ride, and it's great. The stories that we can tell about some of these events, the stuff that has happened throughout the years, it's just amazing stories, amazing people, and it's something I'll never forget.
That's absolutely awesome. You mentioned a podcast, and I remember you were doing a radio show sometime and then switch over to a podcast a little bit. So where can people learn about that and find out more about you in general?
Sure. Yeah, you can. So you can go to our. I'll give out pretty much all our media. First, you can go to our website, which is extremekayakfishing.com, and you can get all the information on future events and all that there. We also have our Instagram, which is Extreme Kayak Fishing, one word. Or you can go to my personal Instagram at joe.hector.kayak. Or you could find me personally on Facebook, Joe Hector. Or you can also find our business also on Facebook, Extreme Kayak Fishing Inc. And we also have a podcast that's called sorry, we changed the name of it like twice already, so it's already like but it was Kayak Fishing Raw, and now it's Raw H2O Podcast. So it might come up either one, but we're the Raw H2O Podcast. We wanted to expand it more just from kayaks to pretty much everything water-based now. Nice. We have fun talking about, I think our podcasts are more known talking about like UFOs and Bigfoot and paranormal experiences at the end of our shows than anything.
They are a blast. I love listening to them.
Oh yeah, they're fun. So you can check us out there. That's also on our website too. So you can find us on iTunes, Raw H2O, or you can find us on YouTube, which pretty much has the whole bag. They got our podcast that you can watch and the tournaments that you can watch, and that's Extreme Kayak Fishing TV.
Perfect. And folks, I will make sure that we get all those links for you in the show notes page. So in case you're driving or whatnot, you just go to one spot and grab all of those. So just go to my website, spencermjones.com, go to the Jonesin 4 show, click on this episode, and there'll be all those links there for you, as well as like a good summary of our chat today. So, Joe, thank you so much for being on our show today. It's been amazing to get to chat with you and for you to share your knowledge with all of us. Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. But thanks for having me on. And, you're welcome here anytime, brother. I appreciate everything. I appreciate you inviting me. So We got to get you on the show, man.
Heck yeah, just let me know and we'll make that happen. And folks, check out Extreme Kayak Fishing. Even if you've never fished saltwater before, like me, you can go down there and have some fun on the water, meeting some great people, get a great crew, and heck, catch a fish, catch a sailfish, anything down there is a blast, and you get to meet Joe and work with this crew. So folks, thank you for tuning in. If you like the show, make sure you subscribe, share it out on social media, and head over to Extreme Kayak Fishing. Give them a like as well and follow their crazy adventures while you are at it. So until next time, folks, we will catch y'all later.
Peace.
Hey everyone, sorry to cut in real quick, but I have something that I really want to share with you that I think will really help you out. If you struggle with having balance in your life, whether it's chasing your passions and balancing that with family and work, and if you're anxious all the time, right? If that sounds like you, I have something that can help you out. I created this workbook, this worksheet really, that helps you figure out that balance in your life so that you can have the calmness, the peacefulness, right, of having a balanced life by being able to do all the things you want to do by spending time with your family, getting your work done, and chasing your passions, have it all done. So if that interests you, if you are wanting to balance your life, be sure to check out my website, spencermjones.com. and click on finding your balance, and just all you have to do is put in your email and I will send it to you right then, and you can go through this worksheet and find that balance you desire in your life. All right folks, enough of this talking. Go get your balance and have a great day.